Hi, everyone. If you're watching this, grab a seat because my story is not your usual family drama. It's about how I went from being the apple of my parents' eye to the shadow in my own home, all because my mom got pregnant again. I'm Leah. When I was little, my parents adored me. I was their miracle child. They'd clap at every little drawing I made, brag about me at church, and even record me singing into a hairbrush like it was the Grammy stage. But when I turned 6, my mom gave birth to my brother Marcus, and overnight I became invisible. At first, I thought it was normal. Babies need more care, right? But it wasn't just about diapers and bottles. It was about how their love for me shrank, like someone turned off a light switch. Marcus. From the moment he was born, he was the center of the universe, at least for my parents. You'd think he was a prince, the way they worshipped his every move. Meanwhile, I was just there, existing. Mom used to say,
Leah, you have to understand, Marcus is special. He needs more attention.
"But what about me? Don't I need you too?" She never answered. She'd just walk away. From the start, Marcus was trouble. He'd scream until he got what he wanted. If he broke something, they'd say it was just an accident. And if I made a mistake, grounded, scolded, shamed. I'll never forget when I brought home a perfect report card in 3rd grade, straight A's. I rushed to show Mom. "Mom, look, I got all A's." She glanced, smiled faintly, then looked over at Marcus, who was playing with toy blocks.
Marcus, you stacked 4 blocks. Oh, my clever boy.
I stood there, my report card shaking in my hands. Or the time Dad promised to take me to the fair. I dressed up, shoes polished, hair in braids. But when Marcus threw a tantrum, Dad canceled our plans.
Sorry, Leah, your brother isn't in the mood today.
But you promised.
Stop being selfish. You're older. You should understand.
So we all stayed home because Marcus wanted to. That's how life was. Marcus spoke, and we obeyed. As Marcus grew, so did his appetite for chaos. He lied, stole, manipulated, and my parents covered for him every single time. I remember weekends when Dad would pack up the truck, whistling with excitement.
Come on, champ, we're going fishing. Just you and me. Yes, can I bring my new rod? Of course, son. Let's make it a real adventure.
I'd be standing there with my shoes on, hoping he'd notice me. "Dad, can I come too?"
Not this time, Leah. It's a boys' trip. You wouldn't enjoy it.
But the trips kept coming. Fishing, camping, ball games. And every time I was left at home, staring out the window until the truck disappeared down the street. At home, it wasn't any better. Mom would beam whenever Marcus did the smallest thing.
Your boy is growing so fast. Oh yes, Marcus is brilliant. He's going to do great things. Just last week, he stacked 12 Lego bricks all by himself.
They laughed together while I stood at her side, holding the drawing I had worked on all night. "Mom, I won first place in the art contest."
That's nice, Leah. Go sit down, dear. Marcus, tell them about your Lego tower.
I felt invisible, even when I was right there. The favoritism wasn't just annoying, it was dangerous. I'll never forget the night Marcus stole Dad's car when he was 16. He couldn't even drive properly. He floored it, lost control, and smashed right into a school bus parked near the community center. Miraculously, no kids were inside. When the police came to our door, I thought, finally, they'll see Marcus for who he really is. But no, my parents pulled me aside.
Leah, you're going to take the blame.
What? Why me?
Please, sweetheart, Marcus can't go to jail. He has a future. You're strong. You can handle this.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to fight. But they had already told the police it was me. Just like that, I was shipped off to juvenile detention for a month, for something I didn't do. That month changed me. You can't sit in juvie, surrounded by kids who've lived through hell, and not harden up a little. I made a promise to myself. One day, they'd regret what they did to me. When I got out, nothing changed. Marcus was still the good son on the outside, while my parents covered up his chaos. He'd steal neighbors' packages, laugh about it, and Mom would march over to return it on his behalf with a sweet smile.
Your son stole my delivery again. Oh, Marcus just got curious. Boys will be boys.
Meanwhile, if I so much as raised my voice, I was treated like a criminal. But the cracks started showing. Marcus grew bolder. He drank. He fought. He manipulated. He had this smug smile that made my stomach twist because I knew nobody else would ever hold him accountable. Until the night everything shattered. It started with an argument. Marcus had wanted money. Mom told him no, for once. I was in the living room when I heard the shouting.
You never say no to me. You owe me.
Marcus, enough. I said no.
There was a silence, then a scream. I ran into the kitchen, and what I saw is burned into my memory forever. Mom was on the floor, clutching her stomach, blood pooling beneath her. Marcus stood over her, a kitchen knife in his hand, his face pale as if he were the victim. Marcus, what did you do?
It was her fault. She pushed me.
Her fault? The woman who had ruined me to protect him? The woman who covered every mess he ever made? I pressed my hands against Mom's wound, crying, begging her to hold on. But it was too late. By the time the ambulance arrived, she was gone. The police didn't buy Dad's desperate attempt to spin it.
It was an accident. He didn't mean it.
But Marcus was arrested, cuffed right there in the kitchen where Mom had fallen. For the first time, the golden boy wasn't untouchable. The trial was brutal. Dad tried to hire expensive lawyers, but the evidence was too clear. Marcus had a history of violence, and Mom's blood was on his hands. Literally. He was sentenced to years in prison. Dad begged me to stand by him.
Leah, we need to be a family. Marcus is all I have left.
You made your choice a long time ago. You picked him over me every single time. Now you can live with it. And I meant it. I cut him off. Dad lives alone now with just a dog for company. Sometimes I imagine him sitting in that empty house, staring at the chair Mom used to sit in, wondering how it all went so wrong. As for Marcus, last I heard, prison hasn't been kind. The golden boy who thought the world owed him everything is just another inmate now, stripped of his crown, forced to face consequences he never thought would touch him. And me? I've built my own life, far away from their shadows. It took years, but I finally stopped feeling guilty for being the unwanted one. I wasn't the problem. I never was. You'd think prison would humble him. But Marcus met karma there.
Hey, pretty boy, where's your mommy now to clean up your mess? That's mine now. What's he gonna do, cry to daddy?
They took his things, mocked him daily, shoved him around in the showers. He wasn't the golden boy anymore. He was nothing. He started writing me letters. Pages of apologies, of blaming Dad, of begging me to visit.
Sis, you're all I've got. Please don't turn your back on me.
I never replied. Dad still visits him every week. He even called me.
Leah, I know we made mistakes, but we're still family. Marcus needs us.
You chose him over me every single time. Now live with it. And I hung up. I cut them both off. Because here's the twist. I realized Marcus wasn't the only guilty one. Mom and Dad created him. They spoiled him, covered for him, taught him he was untouchable. They built the monster who destroyed them. As for me, I rebuilt my life. I've got a good job now, a fiancé who actually sees me, a future that doesn't include being the family scapegoat. Do I feel guilty? No, I feel free. Sometimes I picture Dad in that empty house, only his dog for company, clutching Marcus's letters like a lifeline. And Marcus in prison, stripped of everything, mocked by the same kind of people he once thought he was better than. That's their reality. Mine is better. So if you've ever been treated like the unwanted child, take heart. Sometimes, life does the revenge for you. And hey, before I go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who knows a spoiled Marcus in their life. Otherwise, who knows? Maybe Marcus will send you a letter. Just kidding. He's too busy hiding his soap in prison.
I decided it was time to teach Simon a lesson. If he wanted to steal from me, he'd have to pay the price. Wiring up electronics is something of a hobby of mine, and I decided that I would make a trap for Simon. I rigged up a package with a little surprise inside. I wired it so that anyone who touched it would get a mostly harmless and very unpleasant electric shock. To top it off, I added a stink bomb inside the box. When it went off, it would cover the thief in a foul-smelling substance that wouldn't wash off easily. To make sure that, should he take the package with him though, I hid a tracking tag in the bottom of the package as well. The next day, I placed the trap on my porch and made sure my camera was ready. Then I went to work, hoping my plan would work. When I got home that evening, the trap had been sprung. The package was gone, but my camera had captured everything. There was Simon, sneaking onto my porch in his signature hoodie. He grabbed the package, and the second he lifted it, the shock hit him. He stumbled back, flailing his arms, and then the stink bomb went off, covering him in a thick, foul-smelling goo. Hi there, I'm Benny, and I've lived in my quiet little neighborhood for years. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where kids ride their bikes on the street and neighbors exchange friendly waves. Well, at least it used to be. Everything changed when I got a new neighbor. A man by the name of Simon moved in next door. At first, I didn't think much of him. He seemed a little odd, always wearing that same black hoodie with the obscure band logo on it, and avoiding eye contact. He kept to himself mostly, and he never spoke to anyone, and his house always had the blinds drawn. To each their own, I thought. But then, things started to go missing. It started with my packages. I would order things online often, and the delivery drivers would leave them on my front porch. I'd even get a notification that a delivery had been made, but when I got home, there was nothing there. At first, I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe the delivery driver left it at the wrong house. But after it happened 3, 4, 5 times, I knew something was up. And so I asked around the neighborhood, and sadly, I wasn't the only one that had been targeted. Thinking that it was some bored teenagers or neighborhood thieves, I decided to set up a doorbell camera. If someone was stealing my stuff, I'd catch them in the act. Sure enough, the very next day, my camera recorded someone sneaking onto my porch and swiping a package. The thief was wearing a ski mask and a black hoodie. But that hoodie, I'd seen it before. Simon wore one just like it all the time. The band logo that was on it was unmistakable. Seeing this, I got the urge to confront Simon and get him to stop and never take my packages ever again. Hey Simon, can I talk to you for a second? Ugh, I'm busy. What do you want? Me and a bunch of our neighbors have been having some issues with our packages going missing. And, well, my camera caught someone stealing them. They were wearing a hoodie just like yours. Oh, is that a fact? Are you accusing me of something? Should I? So you think that I stole your packages? Well, I don't need to steal your crap. I have everything I need. Look, I'm not saying it was you. I'm just saying it's a weird coincidence, and if you happen to know who it was, then maybe you can get them to stop. Well, it wasn't me, so you can go bother someone else. And I didn't believe him for a second, but without a clear shot of his face, I didn't have enough evidence to prove it was him. Frustrated, I decided to let it go, for now, but that I would keep an eye on him, and maybe he would slip up and I would catch him in the act, or now that I had told him that I suspected him, that maybe he might stop. But things only got worse. Sadly, the packages were only the beginning of the problems. A few weeks later, I got my electricity bill. When I opened it, my jaw nearly hit the floor. I had lived here for over a decade and it had never been that high before. It was more than double what it usually was. I couldn't understand it, as nothing had changed. I didn't get any additional appliances, or do anything out of the ordinary that would warrant such a drastic increase. Something wasn't adding up. I started checking around the house, thinking maybe I'd left a light on, or a device plugged in. Although I couldn't understand how leaving 1 or 2 lights on could account for that much of an increase, I was desperate to find some reason for it. That's when I noticed something odd. A couple of extension cords were running from the side of my house, through the bushes, and straight into Simon's backyard. That's it. I've had enough of this guy. As if the stolen packages and electricity theft weren't enough, Simon's behavior got even worse. One weekend, I went to a local nursery and bought a bunch of different plants. I got some bushes, flowers, and even a couple small young fruit trees. I decided to get up extra early and do the hard work planting all the various things I bought in my front garden. It had been a while since I'd had the time, and I was looking forward to sprucing up the place. Plus, gardening has always made me happy and usually reduced stress. The next morning, I stepped outside to find that someone had trampled my freshly planted flowers and had snapped the thin, fruiting trees in half. The soil was scattered everywhere, and the plants were crushed. My stomach sank. I checked the footage from my doorbell camera, and there it was, Simon, wearing the same ski mask that he had worn before and in his usual hoodie, stumbling through my yard late at night. He appeared to be drunk or something, kicking at the flower beds as he passed. Unbelievable. What the hell did I ever do to this guy? I marched over to his house, pounding on the door. It probably wasn't a good idea, but I was at my wit's end. "Simon, open up!" He cracked the door open just enough to glare at me. I could easily tell that he was hungover, if not still drunk. "Oh, it's you. What do you want now?" "You destroyed my garden last night," I said, holding up my phone to show him the footage. "Care to explain?" "You're imagining things. I mean, that clearly isn't me, and you can't prove that it was." "Don't you dare! I have you on camera. If this doesn't stop, I'm going to the police." "And tell them what? Some mysterious person stepped on your flowers? Give me a break. Again, you can't prove anything. That person in the video could literally be anyone. For all I know, you ruined your own garden, and now you're trying to frame me for doing it." He scoffed and shut the door in my face. I was so angry that I could barely think straight until I went home and had a good few hours to calm down. I decided it was time to teach Simon a lesson. If he wanted to steal from me, he'd have to pay the price. Wiring up electronics is something of a hobby of mine, and I decided that I would make a trap for Simon. I rigged up a package with a little surprise inside. I wired it so that anyone who touched it would get a mostly harmless and very unpleasant electric shock. To top it off, I added a stink bomb inside the box. When it went off, it would cover the thief in a foul-smelling substance that wouldn't wash off easily. To make sure that, should he take the package with him though, I hid a tracking tag in the bottom of the package as well. The next day, I placed the trap on my porch and made sure my camera was ready. Then I went to work, hoping my plan would work. When I got home that evening, the trap had been sprung. The package was gone, but my camera had captured everything. There was Simon, sneaking onto my porch in his signature hoodie. He grabbed the package, and the second he lifted it, the shock hit him. He stumbled back, flailing his arms, and then the stink bomb went off, covering him in a thick, foul-smelling goo. I wasted no time calling the police. When they arrived, I showed them the footage and told them that I had placed a tracking tag inside of it, and even told them all about the stink bomb I had used. They were impressed by my setup and agreed to check out Simon's house. I found it surprising that they would just take me at my word, but apparently I wasn't the only one that had complained about Simon. They had been slowly building up evidence against him, and this was just the final straw. We'll take it from here. If we go over there and he smells like the stink bomb you included in the trap, or the tracker you used is found in his house, then we will have probable cause to go into his house. We won't even need a warrant. It didn't take long for the police to put the pieces together. They used the tracker I used and found that the signal from it was coming from inside Simon's house. They then knocked on Simon's door, and when he answered, still smelling like a landfill, they knew they had their man. With probable cause, they entered his house and found hundreds of stolen packages inside. Some of them were mine. Most of them weren't. "Simon, you're under arrest for theft. There is more than enough evidence, so please just come with us quietly." "This is ridiculous. I didn't do anything. I've clearly been framed." At that point, Simon tried to make a run for it, but the police tackled him and were forced to cuff him and pin him to the ground in order to stop him from running away. They even had to hit him a few times with their batons to get him to stop resisting. The evidence against Simon was undeniable and very overwhelming. The police found evidence that Simon had stolen so many packages that his basement was full of empty boxes, and he had been selling the things he didn't want or need online. When it went to court, it came out that Simon wasn't Simon. The name was just the latest that he had chosen to go by. Apparently, he habitually would steal from people or commit fraud, and when things got too dicey, he would change names and move. It did not go well for Simon, and he was sent to prison for a decade, and his house was seized as part of the investigation. A few months later, a young family bought Simon's house. They were friendly, polite, and even brought over cookies to introduce themselves. It was a welcome change after dealing with Simon's nonsense. Life in the neighborhood finally went back to normal, and I could order packages without worrying about them disappearing. As for Simon, well, let's just say I hope he's enjoying his new accommodations. Thanks for watching. But to lose one of my brothers on top of that was almost too much to bear. I was filled with sadness until I noticed something odd. At the funeral, Marcus seemed almost happy. It was so incredibly unsettling, and it made my blood boil. Marcus, you ghoul! Why are you smiling at a time like this?
Well, I guess this means Grandpa's fortune will be split 2 ways now. It's what Tom would have wanted.
I had no words. All I could do was bite my tongue and do my best not to cause a scene. His callousness made my stomach churn. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. A few days later, I visited Marcus's house to confront him. That's when I saw it. His car parked in the driveway. The front bumper was badly damaged, and it was the same brand of car the police had seen in the security footage. My heart raced as I snapped photos. I took the evidence to the police. My name is Reggie Mack, and my life has always been defined by my family. I have 2 brothers, Tom and Marcus. Tom's my rock, my confidant, the kind of brother who would do anything for you and expect nothing in return. Marcus, on the other hand, is complicated. If Tom is the heart of our family, Marcus is the thorn that digs into it. Tom and I always got along well, even as kids. We'd spend our summers building forts in the woods, riding bikes, and staying up late talking about our dreams. Marcus, though, always seemed to feel like the world owed him something. I remember one Christmas when we were kids. Dad had worked overtime for weeks to afford us some nice gifts. I got a Lego set, Tom got a remote control car, and Marcus got the exact gaming console he'd been begging for all year. But instead of being grateful, he sulked.
This isn't the deluxe version. I told you I wanted the deluxe version. Marcus, we couldn't afford it. Be thankful for what you got. Thankful? For this? You don't care about me at all.
Marcus, what's the big deal? You got what you wanted.
You moron, you just don't understand. This version of it is garbage. None of the kids at school will be impressed unless I get the deluxe version. Do you think I want to be seen as a loser like you and Tom?
That was Marcus in a nutshell. Selfish, entitled, and impossible to please. Over the years, his behavior didn't improve. I remember another incident when we were teenagers. Grandpa gave us each a small allowance for helping out on his farm. Tom saved his share, I used mine to buy new sneakers, and Marcus spent his almost immediately on snacks and video games. A week later, he came to me.
Reggie, can I borrow some money? I'll pay you back next week.
You already spent your allowance? That was supposed to last the whole month.
Yeah, well, I had things I needed to buy. Come on, don't be a jerk, you've got plenty left. Just help me out.
Sorry, Marcus. You should have budgeted better. I have plans for the rest of the money.
You're such a selfish prick. I hope you break your leg while running around wearing those new sneakers you bought. By the way, they make you look stupid. I mean, they aren't even a popular brand.
It wasn't just about money. Marcus always demanded more attention, more recognition, more everything. Tom and I learned early on to temper our expectations when it came to him. Then there was the time Tom got accepted into his dream college. We threw him a surprise party to celebrate, and everyone was so proud. Well, everyone except Marcus.
Oh, great. Another Tom is amazing moment. When is it my turn to be celebrated?
Marcus, this is Tom's achievement. Be happy for him. When you get accepted to college, we'll have a party for you as well.
Why should I? It's not like he's even going to a good school. Besides, he'll probably flunk out because he is such an idiot. I can't imagine why they even accepted someone as stupid as him.
Marcus, how can you speak about your brother that way?
He stormed off, leaving everyone feeling awkward. That's just who Marcus was. A black hole of resentment, sucking the joy out of every room he entered. Sadly, he has always been that way. Even when we grew up and moved out, he still stayed the same. Nothing ever could make him act normal. It was Marcus's world, and we all just had the privilege of living in it. At any rate, time sped on by, and one day we got some terrible news. Our grandfather announced to the family that he had been diagnosed with cancer. He'd always been the cornerstone of our family, a self-made man who worked hard to give his children and grandchildren opportunities. He worked so hard, in fact, that he had amassed quite a large fortune. He took the money that he earned from his farm and invested it every year, and he had made himself quite wealthy as a result. When he called us to his bedside, we knew it was serious.
I don't have much time left, boys. When I go, everything I've worked for will be split equally among you 3. I've already spoken to your parents, and they agree that it is the best choice since they're doing well enough on their own. I trust you'll honor my legacy and look out for each other.
Of course, Grandpa. Thank you for trusting us.
We won't let you down.
Well, about that, I've been thinking. Since I've had a harder time than these two, maybe I should get a bigger share. Marcus, I've made my decision. My wealth will be split evenly. It's final.
The look on Marcus's face was pure indignation. Both Tom and I could tell that Marcus was not thrilled that he would have to share the inheritance at all. Over the next few weeks, he started planting seeds of discontent.
Reggie, you don't even need the money. You've got a good job. Why not let me take a bigger share?
Because Grandpa wanted it split equally. That's what he wanted. Besides, I could really use the money.
You're so selfish, Reggie. I've always known it.
Selfish how? For crying out loud, Marcus, why can't you ever be satisfied with anything?
Because unlike you, I'm not a loser. I deserve it more than either you or Tom.
He started harassing Tom too, calling him daily to demand that he give up part of his inheritance. Tom, however, wasn't as kind as I was, and he told him off more than once.
Come on, Tom. Be reasonable. You don't even have kids. What do you need all that money for?
Marcus, it's not about need. It's about honoring Grandpa's wishes. And if you don't like it, then you can take a long walk off a short pier.
You'll regret this, Tom.
Then, the unthinkable happened. One rainy evening, I got a call from the police. They told me that there had been a terrible accident and that I needed to come over right away.
Mr. Mack, I'm sorry to inform you that your brother Tom was killed in a hit-and-run accident.
You can't be serious. Do you have any suspects?
At the moment, no, but we are investigating some leads, I promise you.
Grief consumed me. Tom was the glue that held our family together, and now he was gone. It was bad enough that our grandfather was ill and would likely die soon, but to lose one of my brothers on top of that was almost too much to bear. I was filled with sadness until I noticed something odd. At the funeral, Marcus seemed almost happy. It was so incredibly unsettling, and it made my blood boil. Marcus, you ghoul! Why are you smiling at a time like this?
Well, I guess this means Grandpa's fortune will be split 2 ways now. It's what Tom would have wanted.
I had no words. All I could do was bite my tongue and do my best not to cause a scene. His callousness made my stomach churn. I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. A few days later, I visited Marcus's house to confront him. That's when I saw it. His car parked in the driveway. The front bumper was badly damaged, and it was the same brand of car the police had seen in the security footage. My heart raced as I snapped photos. I took the evidence to the police. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think my brother was involved in the hit and run that killed my other brother Tom.
We'll investigate this. Thank you for coming forward. To be honest, we suspected that he might have been involved. This helps our case quite a bit.
I was too upset to drive, and so I decided to walk home from the police station. While walking home that evening, I couldn't shake the unease. That's when I heard it, a car engine roaring behind me. I don't know where the urge came from, but I suddenly felt the need to jump off to the side. I dove out of the way just in time as Marcus's car swerved, smashing into a wall. Had I not jumped, though, he would have run me over and pinned me between his car and the wall. Fueled by anger, I ran over, yanked him from the wreckage, and let my fists fly. You piece of crap! You killed Tom, and now you're trying to kill me?
You have no proof.
Your car is literally pinned to a wall where I was just standing. How dumb do you think I am?
Well, you shouldn't have gone to the police.
Rage filled me as I kept punching Marcus until he was unconscious. By the time that the police arrived, I had managed to wipe the blood from my knuckles and then played dumb. I knew that they could tell that his wounds hadn't been inflicted by the accident, but they pretended that they had. I can only assume that they were just glad that it hadn't been a second hit and run, and that he had been caught.
Looks like he got banged up pretty bad in the crash.
Yeah, the crash was rough.
Yep. Good thing though, or else he might have fled the scene again.
The lead detective winked at me and smiled. It was clear that they knew what actually happened. They didn't ask any more questions though, and Marcus was arrested for attempted murder and charged with Tom's death after the evidence came through. Our grandfather was devastated when he learned the truth, but he wasn't really that surprised. No one in the family was. Not after the way that Marcus was acting at Tom's funeral.
I'm cutting Marcus out of my will entirely. He's no grandson of mine. Yes, I think that is for the best, Dad.
I can't believe he could be such a monster.
Marcus was sentenced to prison, and our family disowned him. From what I have heard, he isn't doing well in prison. His bad attitude keeps getting him in trouble with the other inmates. Judging by the letters he sends from time to time, I think he spends a lot of time in the infirmary from getting beaten up. Although he mails the family often, no one ever writes back, and no one ever goes to visit him. As far as we're concerned, he is dead to us. When Grandpa eventually passed away months later, he left everything to me. But keeping the entire fortune didn't feel right. I used a portion of the inheritance to create the Tom Mack Foundation, offering scholarships to underprivileged students. It's my way of honoring Tom and ensuring his legacy lives on. Looking back, I've learned that family isn't about blood. It's about the people who stand by you. Tom may be gone, but through the foundation, his kindness and generosity will continue to touch lives for years to come. And as for Marcus, when he gets out, he better not come looking for me, because if he does, then I'll beat him up even worse than the last time. Thanks for watching.
Then came the day my water broke. I was rushed to the hospital, contractions racking my body, my husband by my side, nurses bustling around me. For a fleeting moment, I thought I had escaped Douglas's shadow. But then the delivery room door slammed open. And there he was, Douglas, in a tailored suit, tie perfect, holding papers like a weapon.
Maya, I need you to sign off on the Thompson contract right now.
The nurse's face turned pale.
Sir, this is a sterile environment. You can't be here.
If you don't sign, we lose the client. Do you want to destroy the company while you're busy pushing out a brat?
I gasped, sweating, contractions tearing through me. Douglas, please, I can't.
Can't or won't? Clients don't wait for your little miracle. Scribble your name and stop being dramatic. Do you want to destroy the company while you're pushing out a brat? Sign it.
The nurse stepped in, furious.
Out now!
But Douglas shoved her. He actually pushed a nurse in a delivery room. Doctors rushed in, my husband yelled. Security was called. Douglas thrashed, shouting curses, before guards dragged him out kicking. The birth went on, but the joy was scarred. My name is Maya, and for years I worked at a consulting company that should have been a stepping stone in my career. On the outside, it looked like a respectable firm. On the inside, it was a battlefield ruled by one man's cruelty. His name was Douglas Carr, and he was a nightmare for every employee and intern unlucky enough to serve under him. Douglas thrived on humiliation. He treated people not as colleagues but as props in his theater of cruelty. His words were weapons, his smile was poison, and his temper, always loaded, always aimed at someone. I'll never forget one job interview that still makes my stomach churn. A candidate walked in, a man with dwarfism, smartly dressed, resume clutched in his hands. His voice was steady, but you could tell he was nervous. He introduced himself politely, ready to prove his worth.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for considering me for the analyst position.
Douglas leaned back, smirking.
Well, aren't you a little short on experience?
The candidate froze, visibly wounded, but trying to stay professional.
Actually, sir, I have 5 years of relevant experience. Do we need to build you a custom desk? Or maybe get you a ladder to reach the keyboard? Oh wait, maybe you could file papers under the desk. You'd fit right in.
The office went dead silent. No one laughed. We all sat frozen, ashamed to breathe. The poor man excused himself with as much dignity as he could muster, walking out while Douglas chuckled like it was the funniest thing in the world. That was Douglas, mocking people for sport, cutting them down just to feel tall. And he didn't reserve his cruelty for outsiders. No, his favorite targets were us, his employees. From day one, I could tell Douglas thrived on intimidation. He didn't just bark orders, he tore people apart. The interns were his personal servants. One afternoon, I watched him corner a nervous intern holding a stack of files.
Oh, James, did you forget my dry cleaning again? I can't believe you're making me chase this down myself. I'm sorry, sir. I'll go pick it up right now. No, take it to the cleaners immediately. And don't forget to grab my dog from the groomer on your way back.
James gulped, nodding frantically.
Oh, and stand in the rain for 5 minutes too. I want to test that new umbrella you bought.
Even the senior staff weren't spared. One afternoon, Douglas stormed into the open office space, face red, voice booming.
The toilet isn't flushing again. I shouldn't have to tell you this. Sir, maybe we should call maintenance? Maintenance? No. You two are perfectly capable adults. Grab those plungers and unclog it yourselves. Now.
They exchanged helpless glances but obeyed, muttering under their breath as they shuffled toward the restroom. And then there was Claire, the receptionist, a sweet young woman with kind eyes who had the misfortune of being nearby when Douglas stomped in one rainy morning, mud all over his Italian shoes.
Claire, clean these now. Mud, my shoes. What do you think this is? A charity?
Sir, maybe a mop would be better.
What? Too much for your job description?
Claire hesitated, glancing at the staff who were silently watching.
Come on, bend down, wipe them clean. I'll wait.
With shaking hands, Claire bent down, tissues in hand, while he sipped his coffee, feet crossed, chest puffed out, grinning like a king on a throne. It was horrifying to watch, yet somehow he seemed to feed off the fear and discomfort in the room. Every order, every humiliation left a mark. The office became unbearable. People whispered in the break room, trading survival strategies. Some cried quietly at their desks. A few quit, but most of us couldn't afford to leave. Whenever I presented a report, he would cut me off, his smirk dripping with venom.
Wow, Maya, did your 5-year-old nephew put these numbers together? They look like crayon drawings.
The room went silent. I forced a smile, trying to keep my composure, while he basked in the embarrassment he'd created. And he didn't stop there. Douglas had a habit of misplacing important files and then blaming me. Once he shouted across the office,
Maya, where's the Thompson contract? Don't tell me you lost it again.
I had emailed it to him hours earlier, but he delighted in making me scramble, eyes burning while my colleagues watched in awkward silence. When I found out I was pregnant, I braced myself for his reaction. He didn't disappoint.
Pregnant? Do you even realize the financial impact of maternity leave on this company? Couldn't you plan better?
I'll finish all my projects before I go on leave, Mr. Carr.
Don't think pregnancy gives you a free pass. Laziness spreads like a virus. If you sit down too much, I'll assume you're milking the company. You'll keep up with deadlines, understood?
From then on, he targeted me daily. If I rested for a moment,
Don't get too comfortable, Maya. Pregnancy isn't a disability.
if I took a bathroom break,
Timing your breaks now, are you? Maybe the baby should learn punctuality early.
if I missed a late-night call.
Pregnancy doesn't stop the world from spinning. If Maya can't handle it, perhaps someone else should.
The stress was suffocating, but I gritted my teeth. I needed the paycheck. I told myself to endure him until my leave. Then came the day my water broke. I was rushed to the hospital, contractions racking my body, my husband by my side, nurses bustling around me. For a fleeting moment, I thought I had escaped Douglas's shadow. But then the delivery room door slammed open. And there he was, Douglas, in a tailored suit, tie perfect, holding papers like a weapon.
Maya, I need you to sign off on the Thompson contract right now.
The nurse's face turned pale.
Sir, this is a sterile environment. You can't be here.
If you don't sign, we lose the client. Do you want to destroy the company while you're busy pushing out a brat?
I gasped, sweating, contractions tearing through me. Douglas, please, I can't.
Can't or won't? Clients don't wait for your little miracle. Scribble your name and stop being dramatic. Do you want to destroy the company while you're pushing out a brat? Sign it.
The nurse stepped in, furious.
Out now!
But Douglas shoved her. He actually pushed a nurse in a delivery room. Doctors rushed in, my husband yelled. Security was called. Douglas thrashed, shouting curses, before guards dragged him out kicking. The birth went on, but the joy was scarred. My son's first cry was drowned in Douglas's echo. But fate wasn't done with him. Someone had recorded everything. The video of Douglas barging into a delivery room, screaming about contracts and shoving a nurse went viral. Outrage erupted. Former employees came forward with their stories. Clients terminated contracts in waves. Douglas escaped from the hospital's security guards as soon as he learned the police were on their way to arrest him. By the time the officers arrived, he had already fled, speeding through the streets until a truck slammed into his car. The crash left him in a coma. 2 weeks later, he woke up to the reality. His right leg was amputated due to the fatal accident. His wife, humiliated by strangers whispering, "There goes Mrs. Carr," wife of the psycho boss, filed for divorce. The board of directors fired him on the spot, condemning his actions publicly. His career was over, his reputation destroyed. Meanwhile, I held my healthy baby boy, knowing karma had done its work. A month later, I mailed Douglas a photo of my son's tiny hand clutching mine. No note, just the picture. A silent reminder of the life he tried to ruin and the moment he could never erase. Then came the call from the CEO.
Maya, I want to apologize. What you endured was unacceptable. With Douglas gone, the office feels like a new place. People are smiling again. Effective immediately, you're promoted. We value you, Maya.
I smiled, looking down at my baby. Thank you. That means more than you know. The company thrived without Douglas. The nightmare was gone. And me? I finally had peace. So that's the story of how my boss barged into my delivery room, tried to ruin my labor, and how karma came for him harder than I ever could. Moral of the story? If your boss shows up in your delivery room with a contract, kick harder than the contractions. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I might just barge into your labor room demanding you hit that button. Trust me, you don't want that.
Grandpa's health started to decline when I was in my late 20s. At first, it was little things, forgetting names, losing track of time. Then it got worse. He was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's, and Grandma, who was already struggling with arthritis, became his full-time caregiver. Although in reality, most of the caregiving fell to me. They tried their best to be self-sufficient, but they needed my help more and more. One day after Grandpa had a particularly bad day, I confronted Meredith in the hopes that I could enlist her help. Meredith, I need your help. We can't do this alone.
I'm not a nurse, Corey. Find someone else. Maybe find someone that gives a crap.
They took us in when we had no one. Don't you feel any obligation to repay that kindness?
Nope. I didn't ask to be born into this family. And besides, why would I want to take care of them? I can think of way more fun things to do than to hang around two old farts and a loser like you.
Her apathy was infuriating, and her cruelty was unbearable. She started yelling at Grandpa when he forgot things, calling him useless and a burden. She mocked Grandma for being slow and clumsy. Hi there, my name is Corey. If I'm being honest, my life has always revolved around my sister, Meredith. Not by choice, but because she's the kind of person who demands attention. Selfish, dramatic, and impossible to ignore. We used to be close when we were little, but everything changed when our parents died in a car accident. I was 15, Meredith was 17, and suddenly, we were orphans. Grandma Rose and Grandpa Eric, our father's parents, stepped in. They were already in their late 60s, but they didn't hesitate to take us in. Family takes care of family, Grandpa said when we moved in. They gave us a stable home and all the love they had. But Meredith didn't see it that way. To her, it was just another burden she didn't want to carry.
Meredith, do you mind setting the table for dinner?
Do it yourself, Grandma. I'm busy.
She asked you nicely, Meredith. The least you can do is help out. Maybe stop staring at your phone all day and stop being lazy.
Oh, shut up, Corey. No one asked for your opinion.
This was typical Meredith. Always taking, never giving. When Grandpa lent her money to buy a used car, he made her promise to look for a job. Instead, she spent her days driving to parties and racking up parking tickets. Not only that, but since our grandparents co-signed for the car for her, they started getting calls from collections agencies when she stopped making car payments. Meredith, you're 3 months behind on payments. They're threatening to repossess and tow the car.
Relax, Grandpa. It's just a car.
But we co-signed for it. If they repossess it, that will negatively affect our credit score.
I can always get another.
It's not just a car. Meredith, are you really so selfish and stupid that you don't realize that if they repossess it, that means that you won't get another one? No car dealership is going to sell you a replacement car when they were forced to take this one back. Plus, you aren't the only person that will suffer if that happens. Do you really not care about how it will affect our grandparents?
God, you're so dramatic. All of you need to calm down and relax. Just stop whining.
Meredith's selfishness wasn't just about money. One Thanksgiving, she decided at the last minute not to come to dinner. Grandma had spent days cooking her favorite dishes, sweet potato casserole, pecan pie, and was heartbroken when Meredith called.
I've got other plans.
Plans? But it's Thanksgiving. We were looking forward to spending it together as a family.
What family? You aren't my mother, and I'd rather do something fun. Yeah, well, I'll catch you next time.
Meredith replied before hanging up. That night, Grandma cried as we packed the untouched food into containers. I tried to comfort her, but my own resentment toward Meredith was growing stronger. After losing our parents, our grandparents had really stepped up and filled the void they left behind. We never had to worry about anything with them, and they truly were loving and wonderful people. It enraged me the way Meredith would treat them. As the years went by, it became clear that Meredith had no intention of changing. She moved in and out of the house, leaving chaos in her wake. Bills went unpaid, valuables went missing, and every confrontation ended with her blaming someone else. Meredith, you've got to start paying rent.
Rent? This is Grandma and Grandpa's house. Why should I pay anything?
Because they're on a fixed income. Do you even care how much stress you're causing them?
Not my problem. Besides, we both know that they are loaded. They have more than enough money.
They're retired, though. Whatever money they have has to last until they pass away, and if we're lucky, they'll live for another 40 years.
I hope not. I, for one, could use that money.
I was so disgusted with her. It was a sad day when I realized that not only had I lost my parents, but at some point I had lost my sister as well. I didn't know who this horrible person was anymore, and I wanted nothing to do with her. And then things began to take a turn for the worse. Grandpa's health started to decline when I was in my late 20s. At first, it was little things, forgetting names, losing track of time. Then it got worse. He was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's, and Grandma, who was already struggling with arthritis, became his full-time caregiver. Although in reality, most of the caregiving fell to me. They tried their best to be self-sufficient, but they needed my help more and more. One day after Grandpa had a particularly bad day, I confronted Meredith in the hopes that I could enlist her help. Meredith, I need your help. We can't do this alone.
I'm not a nurse, Corey. Find someone else. Maybe find someone that gives a crap.
They took us in when we had no one. Don't you feel any obligation to repay that kindness?
Nope. I didn't ask to be born into this family. And besides, why would I want to take care of them? I can think of way more fun things to do than to hang around two old farts and a loser like you.
Her apathy was infuriating, and her cruelty was unbearable. She started yelling at Grandpa when he forgot things, calling him useless and a burden. She mocked Grandma for being slow and clumsy, and when Joe entered the picture, things got even worse. Joe was everything you'd expect from someone who would date Meredith: loud, rude, and completely devoid of empathy. He mocked Grandpa's memory lapses and laughed at Grandma's struggle to carry laundry up the stairs. One night, after Joe made a particularly cruel joke about Grandma's cane, I snapped, "Get out of this house, Joe. What are you gonna do, Corey? Lecture me? Because we both know that you don't have the balls to throw me out yourself. You're too weak to do anything. Leave. Now!"
He's my guest, Corey. You don't get to decide who stays.
A week later, they were gone. They left without a word, abandoning our grandparents in their time of greatest need. I wish they had left because I told them to, but I think they were just sick of constantly being asked to help out around the house. At first, I was furious. But as the days passed, I realized life was better without them. The house was quiet and peaceful, and as an added benefit, my grandma and grandpa seemed happier. For the next few years, I devoted myself to caring for my grandparents. It was hard, physically, emotionally, financially, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. They had given me everything, and I was determined to repay them. But eventually, my grandpa's illness caught up with him. He passed away on a crisp November morning. He held my hand and asked me to look after my grandma, and then he said that he loved us both very much, and then he was gone. But Grandma didn't last long without him. 3 days later, she passed away in her sleep. At their funeral, I felt an overwhelming sense of loss, but also peace. They had been together for over 50 years, and now they were reunited. Honestly, I felt that they loved each other so much that the thought of living without one another was too much, and I think my grandma died so that she could be with him again. After the funeral, I returned to the house to start packing up their belongings. That's when Meredith showed up, with Joe.
Hey, baby brother. I saw the good news online.
Good news? How can you still be such a ghoul?
I see you still can't take a joke and that you still have a rod up your butt. What other reason would I be here in this dump? I'm here for the will, of course.
What are you doing here? You can't be serious. After abandoning them years ago, you think they would leave you with something? Why not? It's what we're owed. We're family after all. You abandoned them. You don't deserve a dime.
Joe and I are here to collect our share. Spare me the lecture, Corey. We'll wait here until the will is read. And once we get our share, then and only then will we leave.
You can't stay here. Besides, the will's reading is private. You two assholes aren't allowed in the office.
Yeah, right. As if a scrawny loser like you could keep us out. Go ahead and try and stop us.
The next morning, I left extra early in the morning to meet with the lawyer. When the will was read, I was stunned. My grandparents had left everything to me. The house, their savings, everything. The lawyer handed me a note in Grandma's handwriting. Use this money to see the world, Corey. Live the life you've always dreamed of. When I returned home, I quickly packed a bag and headed to the airport. Just as my grandma had instructed, I bought a ticket to the Bahamas, and once there, I booked a stay at an all-inclusive resort. It had been years since I had been on vacation, and I needed the downtime badly. It was expensive since I did everything last minute, but I now had the money to afford it, and time away did wonders for me. However, my vacation was interrupted.
Where are you? When's the reading?
I'm on vacation and it already happened. They left everything to me.
You're lying!
No, Meredith. They gave me everything because they knew I was the only one who cared.
That's not fair. What about Joe and I?
It's more than fair, actually. But what I don't get is why you think I should care. You're both adults. Why do I need to take care of you?
Because we're broke, Corey. We owe hundreds of thousands of dollars to debt collectors, and we needed our grandparents' money to get us out of debt. We can't even afford to buy groceries. We are that poor. Please have some sympathy for us.
She did her best to try to make me feel sympathy for them, but it wasn't working. After the way they had treated me and our grandparents, there was no way I was going to have an ounce of sympathy for them. That's when I came up with a rather evil plan. Fine. I'll help you.
Wait, you will?
Yes, I will, but I'm not ending my vacation early for you two. You'll have to come here to me. I'm in China.
China? We can't afford a plane ticket to China. We literally have no money at all.
It's fine. I'll pay for you two to fly out here, and I'll even put you up in a 5-star hotel. We'll sip champagne and eat caviar while we hash out things. Sound good?
Oh my God, yes! The flight better be first class, though.
I agreed, and I paid for a one-way trip to China for them. Thankfully, greed made my sister and Joe incredibly blind and stupid because they didn't notice that the flights were one-way, and they didn't even question why I had traveled to China, of all places, whereas I was in the Bahamas. While they were flying across the ocean, I called the police office in China where they were to land, and I described my sister and Joe to the officers, and I lied to them and told them that they were drug traffickers. The police took my story seriously, and they arrested Joe and Meredith shortly after they landed. Of course, without any money, they couldn't afford a lawyer, and so they were railroaded through the Chinese judicial system. From what I heard, they ended up serving several months in jail while the whole thing was sorted out. Meanwhile, back home, I sold my grandparents' house. It was a beautiful house, but there were too many painful memories there, and I wanted a fresh start, so I sold it and moved across the country to the coast where I bought a house right on the beach with a very high-tech security system. I also spent some of my inheritance on buying a cafe near to my new home. It took a bit to get both just the way I wanted them, but I built a life for myself there, and whenever I wasn't working, I was traveling the globe as my grandmas had wanted for me. I know one day that Joe and Meredith will find a way to get back home, but I doubt it will be anytime soon, and even then, I didn't exactly leave a trail for them to follow, so it will be many years before they figure out where I am. Should they ever find me, though, I plan to hit them with a restraining order. As for me, in the meantime, I'm living the good life. I do miss my grandparents, but I also know that they would be proud that I stood up to my sister, and I know that they would very much approve of how I live my life. Thanks for watching.